Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning, 15 minutes to change our lives. Beautiful next section of the Sichon, Parshas Vayetzei, the Sichon Chelek Aleph. Base Zayin. So this is sort of a little bit of a new idea. Beautiful, like a vart. Let's see. Parshas Shavua Mesaperes Mesuper says in the sixth parsha, Keita Yehudi Echad V'Yachid Halach Le'eretz Zara. How a Yid, Yakov, he went to a foreign land. When he got there, he had nothing. He thought he was going to have all these things. In the end, he had nothing. He had to get rid of all his stuff. He had nothing. Because like it says, he said, with my stick, I came over the Jordan. The Gemara says, nevertheless, Ta'ad believe kal ubitachin. He went with a light, easy heart, with bitachin in Hashem. Yivatam Hashem. Yeah, like it says in the Medrash. The Vayel Charon, so he goes to Charon. Ra shein lo sham. Sham ein lo sham almi lismech. There's no one to rely on. The gam lo ala akrevim, also not in his relatives. They weren't nice to him. Afilu Dede, even his uncle, Lavan, Rima say he was cunning with him. He was, he wasn't very nice to him. Aval es bitchene b'Hashem lo ibech Hashem, but his trust in Hashem he didn't lose. We see this beautiful idea from Yaakov, how despite all the trials and tribulations, and this is an important lesson for all of us, despite all the trials and tribulations of his life, he never lost faith in God. He was never, actually he didn't lose faith in God. He walked, even though everything didn't look good for him, with a calmness, and he was just good. He was living good, very comfortable. And that's how he lived his life. Even though what some from outside look at him, be like, man, he struggled, but he didn't look like that. And he didn't act like that. Because of this, even though it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, in the day we ate chayrev, like I think it's like carb, the karach and ice balayla at night. So he struggled, he worked hard. A being that he had this, he did this avodah bitachin. At the end of the day, not al itay rachush rab. He got to have a lot. Gadol, a lot of money. And the main thing he managed to achieve from all this, like we said before, he had a complete bed. All of his offspring, all of his children, all complete. So we see by Yaakov, even though the beginning is a struggle, like not within himself, but within the surroundings, he comes over as nothing. He lives by love on, and he gets twisted around, and he's getting, not good things happening to him. But nevertheless, him calls after all of it, he still is successful in the end. Not just successful financially, which he also is, but also Baruchnis, his children are all going the ways. No better nachas than that. Now let's see in contrast to everyone else. Lavram haya ben Toiv, Yitzchak. It's another child, which is Yishmael. Yitzchak ben Toiv. Yaakov, Yitzchak also had a good child, Yaakov. But he also had ben Nesav, additional child, Esav. Another child, Esav. Even though they brought him up in Eretz Yisrael. This is beautiful. They brought him up in Eretz Yisrael. Galus. And they weren't in galus. Person says, I put on my kid in the perfect environment, I'll put him in the bubble, Eretz Yisrael, he's for sure good. Ultimately, they were able to have children like Ishmael and Esav. Whereas Lumasam Yaakov, what's Yaakov? According to statistics, he's the one that makes the least sense. Shehu, Banav Hayu, Galus, he and his sons were in Galus. He had no one to rely on. He didn't rely on the schools. He had no schools to send him. He didn't have anything. It wasn't like, the environment's good. I'm in Mea Sharim, I'm in Crown Heights, I'm in wherever it is. It's this bubble of an environment. So my kids will be fine. I don't have to worry about it. He didn't have any of that. It was all up to him. And ultimately, what came out of this? From where is my help going to come? He had nowhere. There was no one around to help him. He couldn't send to any Jewish schools. He couldn't send him to have play dates with the other kids. There was no shuls around. He lived by himself. He was in a far-flung place with nothing. What happens? Yisrael Saba Yaakov. He says, who's going to help me? How am I going to do this? I have nothing here. Who avad kasha, and he worked hard. And at the same time working hard just to worry about his children. Banim, his sons and his daughters, Shnei Masar, Banim, Bein, Amza Shalim, 12 children amongst a foreign people, a whole nation. And they shouldn't grasp and take, should internalize the style of Haran. And on the contrary, they should they should be able to draw and suckle and take the Torah that the Yaakov had. Ha'av ben Meya ben Hema, Ha'av ben Hameya or Maila, Avaisav Shem Avram. That's the father that is already 100 and even above, that from their fathers and the forefathers that went to learn in Shem Avram. That's what he's trying to give over to them. Hasheni Shal Hayardin. Yaakov Hisig es Hakol, and Yaakov got everything. And simply through this that he became very successful. The girl Gashmius, he was very, very rich. The Gashmius, Ashirus Mutzlachas Be'emes. This was really, wasn't just a pretend or whatever. He was real. Be'emes very, very rich. He was the Bill Gates of his time, or whoever it is now. Sham Haisa Loy Ashirus Gedeli Yeser Itasa Haisa Shlema. Who Vayetzei min galus is called Banav Nivana B'Shlema. And not just that, he got everyone out, and they're all complete. Yaakov, he worked hard, and it was a tough beginning, but in the end, it was successful. Begashis Beruchtis. And he was very wealthy, and he had good kids. Even though he didn't grow them up in Eretz Yisrael. Whereas we see Avram and Yitzchak, which grew up in Eretz Yisrael, and they grew up their kids in Eretz Yisrael, it wasn't as good. Interesting, eh? Ches. Hanimshal v'hishtakfus shall call ha'amr b'yachad eleinu b'zmaneinu rurim. What's the lesson for us? He's saying it's obvious what it is for us. Yeches l'matzav ha'klali shel Yehudim v'shel chinuch b'miyuchad. General children, Jewish children, and specifically about chinuch. Anaroyim shekol havtachos v'chulu heim efes. Rely on everything is all nothing. My help is only from Hashem. We have only to rely on our Father in heaven. A love who our connection to Hashem is only to mitzvahs. So the 2 points here is one, we have to rely only on Hashem, and our connection to Hashem is only to Torah mitzvahs. The derech haTorah shel Yisrael Saba. When we raise up our children in the way of Torah, in the purest way, im am levad yishkein, a nation alone will dwell. Talmud Torah, teach him in the Talmud Torah in yeshiva. The ruach Torah Hashem, in the spirit of the Torah Hashem, meaning you could even be in a Torah in yeshiva, but it's not with the spirit of Hashem. We bring them to a place and they learn Torah in Torah Hashem. Receive from our fathers and forefathers. Torah b'yoshemayim, Torah b'yoshemayim, eloi psharis, in a way that it's not watered down. The real thing. Tiyeh us, and then to do it that way, mitzvah shleima, complete. I complete. The kids will come in all good, all complete. Ben Arreinu b'zkanin nelech, like we say, without Ben Arreinu b'zkaninu, without young and our old will go. Bevaneinu v'nesenu, the sons and our daughters will go. Kshayabai Mashiach will come. Nemar will say, listen to this. Nemar begain mutzdak will say it like in a, look at this, in a proud way. Elu chayaleinu, these are our soldiers made in America. The lashon the Rebbe uses, made in America. Dafka in the galus, neladnu begadalnu by America. They were born, they grew up in America. Aba Yehudim Shalemim Nechainim Legulam. They're complete, good, and ready for Gulam. Vayetzei, should be Hashem's will. Shekulan Neilech Likres Mashiach's kingdom here remain. Amen. Shol good Mashiach. This reminds me of a story. I had a Rosh Yeshiva or Magid Shiur that he had family from Yerushalayim or Eretz Yisrael, very, very frum, and he was Lubavitch. I don't know if his family was still Lubavitch, and he grew up in England. He remembers going 770 by the Rebbe, and with his father, when he was a young kid, he's not that old, and his grandfather, and you remember his grandfather was from Eretz Yisrael. He went to go visit his grandfather once, and they saw him, and I think it was Mesharim, and they saw him. And they're like, they were like, hey, like he's from, like, how did that happen? He doesn't live in Eretz Yisrael, doesn't like, so how's he from? How's he connected? I'm like, wow, like you can still be from outside of Eretz Yisrael, outside of Mesharim. And the Rebbe is saying, Fakert, really what we see, that the people that live, the Yaakov, out of all of the forefathers, Yaakov, that he had more children, and in the galus, he was able to raise them up in the perfect way, and he was able to be so successful. And a lesson for all of us, clearly, the Rebbe is saying, as long as we don't do psharas, we don't give in, we don't water down authentic Judaism and authentic learning, authentic yeshivas, and we teach them the way it is. It doesn't mean we try not to help them. We just this is how we did it for 100 years. This is how we do it. But it means we do it because we want to do what's right. And this is the way the Eibishter wanted it. This way the Rebbeim instituted it. We want to stick to these ways. When we realize that's what's important, when we do that, we'll have successful kids. It's not that Yishmael and Esav want successful begashmius, but Baruch they didn't go in the ways that that Yitzchak and Avram wanted. And the lesson for us is, if we want our kids to go in the way we want, we have to show them what's important and when we send them to what's important in the yeshiva and what's important when they're learning. Are we saying it's important when they daven properly and they learn properly, and important when they get good marks on their maths or whatever it is, whatever they learn. But when we do it properly, we can say, like the Rebbe says, these are the soldiers made in America. They're not the soldiers made in Mesharim, not soldiers made in Yerushalayim, in Eretz Yisrael, in the Babul. It's the soldiers made in America, in the galus, and wherever we find ourselves, and we're out and about, and we're in this place, doesn't have all those things. We'll learn from this that we can be so successful, even more successful than a person that lives in the shchuna, wherever, in the bubble. We can do it much better. The mitzvah Hashem, we should realize this, and we should internalize this, and we should express this in all of our actions, and we should